Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 20 of the anime series Log Horizon. And this one was a whirlwind. Let me just say from right out of the gate, wow. Taking everything we've learned up until this point in the series, I love the continuity of this series. I love how it's been building on the foundations that we, basically had revealed to us step by step since the early going of the series. Everything from the practical magic to the world-shaping magic to the magic depicted in this episode by Shiro's hand, this sort of contractual magic, if you will, that goes beyond utilizing the menus. As we've learned, if people go around that, use ingredients, they can create actual tasting food, whereas if they use the menus, it'll just be tasteless, garbage and stuff like that. Shiro has figured out this ability to use his scribe skill, level 90 scribe skill, to create a contract that, as Minori has called him out because Arundel House has basically been seemingly killed, but they have tried to revive him in the first few seconds after he was killed, and this has brought his pulse back. So they're already kind of defying the mechanics of the world they're supposed to be existing in. And I thought it was a very clever way they did it, where, essentially he has Minori's little group still healing him every 180 seconds, whatever it was, and then he zombifies, Arundel House for what is about 3 minutes so he can be aware of this contract. And, basically Shiro tells him, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to make you a member of Log Horizon. You as a member will have, your particular duties that will have to be set forth. You will have people working with you. You'll work in tandem with them. You agree to all this stuff, and you will be given the honorary title of adventurer, what Arundel House has wanted from the beginning. And it's absolutely magnificent when, you have his friend Hizuzu, who has been hiding the fact that he is actually a person of the land, one of these people who are, sort of born in this world, whereas all the adventurers aren't. They're kind of like I said in the last video, aliens to this environment and trying to make sense of it. Arundel House, he is a person of the land, so by all rights he should die in that moment. But signing this contract completely bends and shapes the world around the situation. You see him levitating, and Shiro's like, you have to fully die now to make, once he's signed the contract, to make this official. And sure enough, true to Shiro's words, he wakes up in the cathedral as all adventurers do. Now my question is, has he completely undergone a full physical transformation? We know that the people of the land have commonalities with the adventurers, the human beings in this environment. But the thing that's very intriguing to me is, now that he has the title adventurer, is he still a person of the land, or is he something more? Has he become more human? And the idea that Shiro has utilized the psyche, the magic points of all of Minori's group, including himself, because he had Minori add him to the group, it begs the question, are parts of their psyche, in a sense, transferred over, to Arundel House? Will he have knowledge of all of them, or shared experiences? Will they be able to sort of psychically know one another and everything like that? It's just absolutely profound, this episode, obviously, as you can tell by my excitement and just the awe of seeing Shiro, essentially, in a nutshell, reviving Arundel House, who should not have been able to be revived, by manipulating the world. And it seemed like that guy that he learned all this from, Regan, I believe his name was, has basically, he's seeing the energy blast of Arundel House's life being revived from afar, from the kingdom or wherever, and you see him sort of smiling, like perhaps this was his intention. Whether that's going to be, for good or bad later on, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know whether we can trust this Regan character or not. Maybe he is truly trying to help Shiro with the knowledge of this world-shaping magic he revealed to him and everything, or perhaps he has an agenda that is yet to play out. Who knows? But for the moment, it seems as though, with that smile, seeing that energy blast from afar, that Regan has done this intentionally for the better, to help Shiro understand, as the smartest, really, adventurer in the entire, former Elder Tale game environment that they're in. This is their real world now, and Shiro is the master of it. On the sort of opposite side of this, whereas Shiro is definitely the master tactician and of the mind, the mentality, we also see in this episode the master of brutality in Krusty's taking on the Goblin King and all of his hordes of giant wolves and everything. His crew basically decimate, and you see just how brutal and really into it he gets, to the point that Lady Lanessia, the princess of the people of the land, seems to be kind of taken aback by this, and it makes me wonder if, whereas she was awed by him in the previous episode, I'm wondering now if she's beginning to question her own interests. Like, what was I thinking? Being attracted to this guy. There's a little bit more going on here. He's a little more vicious and brutal than I thought. What am I getting myself into? At least that's the way I sort of interpreted her expressions in reaction to this. But Krusty effectively wiped out the entirety of the Goblin King's horde, issuing out this brilliant fiery phoenix that is only said to be used for, basically people's skill level 86 and above. Just magnificent seeing them take out the Goblin horde finally. I don't think that's wiped them all out, but at least they were able to save that town of Chushi, and you basically see now Sugu having to give Marielle kind of, assuring words and inspiring words that they did what they needed to do for the better, and they succeeded as much as possible. Of course, with that, steamship finally getting there at the last second and helping out. Once again, I just have to say the awe and wonder of this series, the continuity of it, the things that we have learned as the characters have learned it. I mean, even this far into the series, it is wowing me as much as the very beginning. And the same cannot always be said for other very similar SAO series, that we might have heard of SAO, and where it kind of, by the midpoint, just took a turn left in the story. These characters are intelligent, the story's intelligent, it's funny, it's wise, and it's got all these great aspects. And seeing Rundle House, Rudy finally revived and becoming an adventurer, I can only guess at the next steps forward. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 20 of Log Horizon. If you were fortunate enough to see it, as I was, I won't be able to respond to your comments, down below, but I would love to hear what you thought of this episode and where you speculate things are going to move ahead in the last 5 episodes of the series. Otherwise, that'll be it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.